Office when you finish, Jim. Now, for the latest news. The state police have warned all the residents in the immediate area to be on the lookout for 18 escaped convicts. The crash out was believed to be headed by John E. Forbes. Forbes has been at the penitentiary for the past 30 years and has been considered until today's break to be a happy, honest, and reliable warden.
Stop patienting now. Your attorney wants to see you.
I didn't do it. The butler did it. I swear.
I swear.
Colleagues, I want you to meet my lawyer. A very distinguished lawyer who throughout my trial was in there catching for me. Gentlemen, Henry Tabor, the Clarence Darrow of the Jelly Bean set.
Joey, I want you to meet Sam Benedict.
Yeah, why?
He's a lawyer. I asked him.
Oh, that's nice. He's a lawyer. Well, you're a lawyer too, Clarence. You were successful in getting me a conviction, you know. Tell me I'm liable to get up to 10 years, so now you're bringing the first team to help me, huh? Well, keep helping me, and I'm liable to make the gas chamber by midnight.
Mr. Kent, I don't like you or your comedy routines. Maybe that's part of the reason you're in this situation now, because I didn't lean on you hard enough. Instead of cooperation, I got a lot of jokes. But I'm still convinced of your innocence, and I asked the best lawyer I know to help you.
Who, him?
Him.
Again, I ask you, help me what?
I've filed a motion for a new trial.
Which means...
In a few minutes, I'll have your bail set. You can get yourself out of here. But first, I want you to understand one thing. The newspapers list your profession as a nightclub comedian. I'll accept that. But I'd appreciate it if you'd keep your mouth shut and help yourself win.
Wow, with this great spirit of camaraderie, how can we lose?
Judge is coming on the bench, Mr. Benedict.
Right, come on. Will you take Mr. Kent to lunch, and I'll see you back at the office at 2.
Right.
You know, if you're half as good a lawyer as Clarence here says you are, I'll probably wind up doing my act for the warden at San Quentin.
I'll try to spare the warden that deadly possibility.
Now, don't get hacked, Sambo.
I'm not Sambo, I'm Sam Benedict. He's not Clarence, he's Henry Tabor. You're about one sentence away from being left high and dry, and one word away from needing a plastic job in your mouth.
Any statement for the press, Mr. Kent?
Yeah, sure. Look, will you tell them for me, I really think this city stinks? Why, the coldest winter I ever spent was right here last summer. No, but seriously, let me tell you something confidentially. Now, I think if the city fathers would take about $8 million and spend it for some civic improvements, this town would really be condemned. I'm a little late for my dead mother's meeting and the speech on why I'm an American and American justice. Good old American justice.
Come on, Joey.
Yeah, come on, Clarence. Let's blow this birthday. You know, I think you and I are going to be really good friends.
Come here a minute, Jet. Do me a favor, will you? Don't print that statement.
Sure.
Have you got a match?
Got a statement?
Yeah, I got a statement. Let's see. Joey Kent was arrested, tried, and convicted for the possession of heroin. But certain factors in the case lead me to believe that the court will grant my motion for a new trial.
You think he didn't get a fair trial?
Oh, yes, I think he got a fair trial. But new evidence will guarantee him a new trial. You bet on that new trial.
I covered the trial, Sam. Frankly, I don't think Tabor did a very good job of defending him. You with the controls, I'll take that bet.
I'm not going to be at the controls. I'll just be there in an advisory capacity. No more, no less.
Tell me straight, Sam. You think young Tabor's got what it takes to make a good trial lawyer?
Nah. I don't think he'll make a good trial lawyer. I think he'll make a great one.
Sam Benedict?
Yeah.
I tried to get you on the phone several times. You're harder to reach than the president.
I understand he's having his problems.
Did you get that call to Hollywood from me yet? Think you could get off the treadmill long enough to take on a new client?
I'm always interested in new clients, Mr.
Nobain. Jack Nobain. Editor, publisher, sometimes writer of this. I'd like you to get me off the hook on a libel. This little Hollywood Cinderella seems to think we're a little rough on him.
Sorry, but I wouldn't be interested.
So don't make a hasty decision. You can name your own fee.
I'm sure I could. With the kind of circulation this magazine commands, there's no doubt in my mind that you'd stand still for a nice fat fee. But personally, I don't think I'm right for you. I think your magazine is just so much trash.
So do most of our 3 million readers. So does this little broad who's slapping us with a 5 million suit. Look, I feel if she gets a note from us telling her that Sam Benedict is going to represent us, she'll make a fast settlement, and your bank account will be that much fatter.
Try someone else. I wouldn't consider lining my garbage pail with this kind of filth. Filmline expose.
6th floor, city jail. Going up.
I have 2 cases under submission now, so you better call the presiding judge and tell him not to assign any new matters to us for a day or so. Good morning.
You wanted to see me, Your Honor?
In my chambers, Mr. Benedict.
Yes, Your Honor. Mind if I use your phone, Judge?
Help yourself, Sam. How's your time these days, Sam?
Oh, about usual. Good, bad, why?
It's a case I'd like you to handle.
With Trudy? Uh-huh. Yeah. What else? What's the number? Right. Anything else? No, I wouldn't offend a guy who'd build inadequate bomb shelters. Matter of fact, I wouldn't offend a guy who'd build a good one. Anything else? All right, I'll see you in about an hour. Right. What kind of a case, Judge?
Sam, I want you to defend a young girl on a VC2 0001.
Oh, hit-and-run manslaughter. What's the circumstance?
She was arrested this morning.
Where is she now?
Youth Guidance Center, Twin Peaks.
How old is this girl?
16.
What's her name?
It's my Teresa, Sam. My daughter. Happened yesterday. First car. He only had a driver's license 1 week. In a few hours, the newspapers are going to get a hold of this case, Sam. You know what they'll do with it. Being a judge and being a father at the same time can be very difficult. As a judge, I cannot I would not ask for any special attention for Teresa Pirelli. As a father, I want all the special attention you can give her.
Tony, all my clients get special attention. And as of this moment, your daughter is my client.
Benedict, I've done the most terrible thing. I forgot to transfer money from your savings account to your checking account, and 20 checks bounced.
Call the parties involved, tell them to redeposit the checks.
Mr. Benedict, I've already done that, but one party refused. He's keeping your check.
What kind of a nut would do that?
Your dear friend, Mr. Small. He's waiting for you in your office now.
All right, call Brelson down at Juvenile Hall and then come into the office with your book.
Yes, sir.
What's this nonsense about you holding on to a bad check of mine?
I want to keep this as a little souvenir. The great master, passing bum checks.
Redeposit it, will you, friend? Yes, Trudy. All right, put him on. Oh, Mr. Brelson, I represent the young Pirelli girl who was arrested this morning. Yes, I'm going to be down at Juvenile Hall this afternoon at about 4 o'clock. I'd appreciate it if I could see you then. Thank you very much.
Go right ahead.
Trudy, have you got that letter from the Internal Revenue Department about Mr. Small here?
I have it.
Tear it up, will you? Say, who's Jack Milbane?
Editor and publisher of Filmland Expose.
I thought we talked to him earlier.
Yes, sir, but he called back. He has a new offer he wants to make.
What letter from what Internal Revenue Department, Sam?
Oh, the big one. Some nonsense about an old tax exemption claim of yours.
But, Sam,
Jack Milbane, please.
What nonsense, Sam?
Forget about it, will you, Freddie? Hello, Mr. Milbane. Sam Benedict. Look, if you insist upon this matter, I may look into the possibility of representing that young Hollywood starlet in her case against you.
They're trying to railroad me, Sam.
Who is?
The big one, the U.S. government. What do they want? They've already got all my money.
Well, if you've always been honest with them, you've nothing to fear. Finish a drink.
I haven't got a drink.
Well, make yourself one. The bar's right over there.
Better check over my tax files.
What letter, Mr. Benedict?
No letter, Trudy. If you ever want to make a wealthy man unhappy, just tell him about the Internal Revenue Department. Oh, Trudy, will you call Judge Pirelli for me? And then no calls, no interruptions until I let you know otherwise.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Please save my boy from prison, Judge. My dear old mother cried. Please save my boy from prison, Judge. That's how his daddy died.
Sam Benedict for Judge Pirelli, please. Have you been drinking, Mr. Kent?
How can you tell, Ophelia? Have a reason for remembrance.
Do you wish to see Mr. Benedict?
Not unless I can help it. I'm waiting for Clarence Tabor. Hey, what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this, huh? Let's you and I go out and get blasted and be somebody, huh, Ophelia?
I am somebody, and you may call me Miss Wagner.
Funny. Oh, good old American justice. Made up of judges who are nothing more than law students marking their own examination papers. Courtrooms, a place where Jesus and Judas were equal, only the dice were loaded in favor of Judas. Clarence, baby, where you been?
How drunk are you?
Not drunk enough.
Still feeling sorry for yourself?
Yep.
I got some important questions I have to ask you, and I need you some clear and concise answers. Do you think you can manage anything like this?
Okay. I just can't resist making a scene. Just can't resist making a scene. Look, let me ask you something. I want you to tell me how you would feel if 12 men and women and true who call themselves jurors, 12 middle-class boobs riding high on the wave of mediocrity, had the right to judge your Innocence or guilt? Tell me.
I'll tell you this. If you want to sit around and wallow in self-pity, I'm sure Judge Larkin can arrange it for a nice long time. Why don't you put down your cross? Nobody's crucified you yet. You've treated this thing like a big circus. You've tried to clown your way through it. You were convicted of possession of narcotics. That's a serious charge, Joey.
And I am innocent of that charge!
Okay, so let's try and prove it. You know as well as I did you didn't offer me any help at the trial. Why?
Look, chum, yours was the first name I saw in the yellow pages. I figured you could handle it.
All right, Joey, so let's start at the beginning. When I took over this case, the only facts I knew were these. One, you'd lost or misplaced a small wardrobe trunk when you checked in for a flight at Los Angeles for San Francisco. Two, when the trunk was finally located in Los Angeles, it was shipped up to San Francisco.
You're doing fine, Clarence. Remember what I told you a million times. I went down to the airport to pick up the luggage. They booked me. Somebody planted that stuff in there.
All right, Joey. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully and try hard to give me a straight answer.
Okay, Doctor?
Joey? When you opened your luggage to identify it, you claimed your clothes were in it, but I want to know if all your clothes were there.
What do you mean all?
Just what I said. Were all the clothes you originally packed still in the trunk?
No. All I remember is a few shirts and my shaving kit. The rest of the stuff was gone.
What other articles did you pack?
Hey, there was a couple of sweaters, 2 sport jackets, a pair of shoes, tuxedo, shorts, socks, 2 dozen 8x10 glossies, my cufflinks, whole bit.
You're positive of that?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
I just didn't think of it.
Why not?
I just didn't think of it, that's all.
Joey, you're pretty forgetful with me. Are you always this forgetful?
All right, so I'm forgetsville. What are you getting at?
When your trunk was misplaced at that Los Angeles airport, they told you it would arrive on a later flight. You called about your luggage?
Yeah, I called about a dozen times, a trillion times.
Where did you call from?
My hotel.
Then they called you and told you the luggage was at the airport. You went out to claim it. The police had been tipped off to a dope shipment. Then that's when you were arrested?
Oh, yeah, the whole bit. Big badges, big cops, big deal. The next thing I know, I'm in the bucket with a bunch of wine-soaked pumpkins singing a tenor part to Melancholy Baby.
Why didn't you tell me about those phone calls you made?
So I goofed.
Why not?
I didn't think of it. What difference does it make?
Those phone calls were made to the airport. You were charged for them. The hotel has that on record. You made every effort to locate your luggage. This tells me if you had known there was heroin in your luggage, you're a bigger dunce than I thought you were. Well, you just didn't want me to know the facts. All right, Joey, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get yourself a shower, a shave, and some rest, and keep your mouth shut. Now get out of here.
Okay. Hey, Clarence?
Tabor, Mr. Tabor.
Mr. Tabor. How come you haven't punched me in the mouth?
Because you're a fool, Joey, and you're drunk, and the Constitution says I can't.
By the way, when does the next bus leave for San Quentin?
Sam, do me a favor. Take him over. I'll work on something else. Anything else.
He's your client. You're going to see him through.
Sam, he's not human. He belongs in a zoo.
He belongs in a court of law where you're going to get him a new and fair and impartial trial. Relax, Hank. I'll be in juvenile hall if you need me.
Oh, Mr. Benedict, what do you want me to do about that check Mr. Small is holding?
Oh, tell him to frame it. Wait a minute, Trudy. Give me that phone. Give me Jim Hart, will you? What's the standard gift for a bar mitzvah now?
Used to be fountain pens, now it's government bonds.
Oh. Jim Hart, please. Sam Benedict calling. Send Judge Levy a $25 bond. Hello, Jim. You still president of that bank? Good. I wonder if you'd do me a great personal favor. I'd like you to draw a draft in my account for $76 in cash. Fine. And I'd like you to send that cash by bank security officer to Fred Small, Bismarck Building, High Street. Wonderful. Oh, one thing more, Jim. I want it all in pennies. Teresa, I haven't seen you since you had blue jeans and a very dirty face. Sit down. Teresa, let me explain your situation. In a few days, there'll be a hearing in which it will be determined whether you are to become a ward of the juvenile court. Now, there is some possibility that even though you're a minor, you may be tried as an adult by the Superior Court. I'm thinking of getting a writ of habeas corpus to get you out of here. Teresa, I haven't seen the arresting officer's accident report, but I will as soon as I legally can. Now, I want you to give me every detail. Now, look, Teresa, the fact that your father is a judge of the Superior Court does not and will not change the law. The court will consider the facts, no more, no less. Now, come on. I want you to tell me everything.
I didn't see that man, Mr. Benedict. I just didn't see him. I was driving along this morning. I heard a noise, like a thud. I turned the corner. The next thing I knew, a police officer on a motorcycle stopped me. He told me I'd hit someone. And he showed me fresh blood on the side of my car.
Were there witnesses?
The officer said there were 3.
The officer showed you blood on your car? Which side?
Side?
Yes, which side of the car? Right, left, where?
The right side of the car. On the back door.
What kind of a car were you driving? A coupe or a sedan?
A sedan. A 4-door sedan.
And then what happened?
The officer called a police car, and they brought me here.
What happened to your car?
It was impounded.
Teresa, has anybody from the district attorney's office talked to you since you've been here?
Only the police officers.
Good. Now, there's some possibility, because of the severity of the charge, that you may be held here until the time of the hearing. As I told you, I'm going to try to get a writ of habeas corpus.
I didn't see that man. I wouldn't have driven away if I had seen him. I don't know anything about any writs, Mr. Benedict.
Now, listen, Teresa.
That poor man is dead. What about his family, Mr. Benedict? I killed that man. I can't bring him back.
Teresa. Nobody knows what's in your heart right now. I know that. I'm going to try to do everything I can in this matter to help you. Meanwhile, I'd like you to try to
get some rest. Around here, that's what they tell me. Don't worry about it, they say. Get some rest, don't think about it. Oh. Mr. Benedict, what else can I think about?
Mr. Benedict's over at the auto impound checking the Pirelli car. Well, I'll check with him as soon as I get through here.
I can't allow anyone to see Kent's wardrobe trunk without a court order, Mr. Tabor. As far as the police are concerned, it's a closed issue.
Well, then let's open it. Look, if I have to get a court order, I will. I just don't have the time right now. I just got back from the airport. I had to go through this whole thing with them in order to get a copy of the manifest that Joey Kent's wardrobe was weighed in. They told me it was against the rules. Look, you've got the luggage here. All I'm asking you to do is drag it out, weigh it, and give me a written statement of the weight of that trunk.
Look, I can't understand it. If you'll explain to me why...
When that trunk left Los Angeles, it weighed 85 pounds. I've got to find out how much it weighed when the police impounded it. Look, Bill, a man's freedom is at stake. The arresting officer's report from the traffic follow-up in the Pearlie case.
Have you drawn up the writ?
It's in there, too. How does it look for the Pearlie girl?
Well, I'll know more after I study this accident report.
Well, I've got all the information I need on Joey Kent's wardrobe trunk. I'm going back to the office and prepare the affidavit and motion for the new trial.
What about the trunk?
Well, you were right, Sam. The police weighed it in at 55 pounds. Somewhere between Los Angeles and San Francisco, Joey Kent's luggage lost a lot of weight.
Uh-huh.
Why am I taking you out to the Youth Guidance Center?
Judge Pirelli's going to see Teresa out there, and I want to see him. Say, how's life with Joey Kent?
I find him morally, socially, and politically obnoxious and innocent.
Tony, I'm glad I caught you.
I was waiting for you. I wanted to avoid those newspaper men. Supervisor said it was all right for me to wait in here. Well, Sam, have you seen her?
Yes, she's a wonderful girl.
She's holding up real well, isn't she?
Yes, but I want to get her out of this place. I prepared a writ of habeas corpus, and I want you to sign it.
No, Sam.
Tony, I want this girl to be at home where she'll be more at ease to discuss the facts.
The police object to her being released. They must have a good reason.
Oh, police objections are customary in this kind of thing. If I listened to police objections, I'd never get anywhere. I want my client out of the guidance center and home.
I can't sign it, Sam. I don't want even the slightest possible suggestion that I'm using my influence in my daughter's case.
I'm not talking about your daughter. I'm talking about my client, who incidentally happens to be your daughter. She has certain rights as a citizen, whether she's a judge's daughter or the daughter of a trapeze artist.
But she happens to be the daughter of a judge and not a trapeze artist. And the action of that judge could reflect on the whole judiciary. Sam, I can't expose the bench to that kind of criticism. Father or no father, the newspaper...
Forget the newspapers. Tony, you're carrying this thing too far. I've sat in your courtroom, and I've listened to you admonish me and the jury and the prosecutors to stick to the cold, bloodless facts. And now you remind me that you're her father. Well, what are you? Judge? Father? What? I don't care about the criticism of the newspapers, of the bench. I care about getting my client home.
So do I, Sam.
Well, then prove it to me by signing this.
You know I'm right. You know I can't sign that without inviting the worst kind of comment. Let's wait until the petition is filed.
Well, I don't think you're doing anything for me. I think you're being very tough on her and very tough on yourself. All right. Come on, Paisan, I'll buy you a drink.
Well, gentlemen of the press, you're wondering why I called you here? Is the master in?
No.
Good, good. Scoop, sweetie, how do you want it? Dictation speed or slow? Hey, you got printer's ink in your blood. I can tell. Look at this. Look at this. Another Brisbane. Well, boys, who's got the dice? Oh, I'm blind. I'm blind.
The act we don't need, Joey. Just a statement.
Okay, come here. I'll give you a story.
Well, if you happen to see Mr. Benedict, would you ask him to call his office as soon as he gets in, please?
I get here, I got no luggage. So what do? I pick up the phone and call the operator. I said, give me the police. Hi. And she says, sorry, that's a private number. It's unlisted. So what do? I'm stuck, right? So what happens? A fuzz come and they pick me up. All right, Kent, lift up your sleeves and show us your marks. So I lift up my sleeve and I show him my marks, and I get a 507, dirty elbows. Wipe that silly look off your face, Kent. But I need a fix, man. I need a fix. What are you on now, Kent? Bubblegum, 2 caps a day, maybe 3. Hi. You gotta get this monkey off my back. I got a monkey on my back. You gotta get it off. But where'll he go, the poor monkey? He's not a bad monkey. There is no such thing as a bad monkey.
Well, go on. Don't stop. very printable.
All right, boys. I'll give you a straight statement. Now, I am really sincere about this. Now, I've got no prejudices against the law. It's for the cop on the beat, the DA, the prosecutor, the judges. I hate them all equally.
Get in the office, will you, Joey? I'd appreciate it if you boys would forget anything he said.
I'm making a statement here, Sam.
You're always making a statement.
Yeah, but what about the freedom of the press, freedom of speech? What about Scoop here?
Get in the office.
Hey, boys, if you come to see me, San Quentin, bring me a cake with a new lawyer in it.
There must be a place in the world for people like Joey Kent, but I can't think where. Did you come to see me or him?
You. Leave him for the comic strips. What's new about Judge Pirelli's daughter?
Well, I've gone over the arresting officer's accident report, and I've got a date to talk with Jerry Spangler in the DA's office. I'll let you know more when I discuss it with him.
What are her chances of getting off?
No more or no less than any citizen charged with the same offense. I'd like to emphasize that point. I've got to give that child in there his 2 o'clock feeding. Will you excuse me? Tomorrow we come up before Judge Larkin again. He'll either grant or deny our motion for a new trial. If you start pulling any of your childish pranks, then I've honestly got to say you deserve what you're asking for. You may be innocent of the charges that you were convicted of, but you're guilty of something worse.
What? Letting the whole world know I got a bad deal?
Joey, when I began practicing law, I started putting myself in my client's shoes. I tried to feel his hopes and his fears, his longings for life and freedom. And I tried to make the jury feel the same thing. But it won't work in your case, especially today, especially since this afternoon.
You want to know what I think?
I don't care what you think, because it'll come out as a bitter little joke that'll cover up what you really think. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of your jokes, and I'm sick of what happened out there. 1 hour ago, I listened to a young girl tell me how she killed a man driving her automobile. This girl's whole life is in front of her, and it's in jeopardy. And her one thought is of the stranger that she killed. Right now, I'd like to devote all my efforts to helping her, because I honestly think all you want to do is get yourself on stage.
Hold it. Whoa. Now, you got something wrong there, something real wrong. Look, maybe when I started working this thing, I was playing the publicity. I don't know. Maybe that's why I wouldn't give Clarence much help.
You haven't helped Mr. Tabor, you haven't helped me, but the biggest factor, Joey, is you won't help yourself.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I am wallowing in self-pity. Maybe I can't forget that I was raised in the stink of the jungle of the Lower East Side. You know how I ever got a bath? The kids used to unplug the fire hydrants and the water used to swoosh all around, and then some stinking cop would come around and start wrapping us around. You know, Mr. Benedict, my folks lived in an upholstered sewer. And some stupid social worker would come around and tell me how hard work was good for you. Hard work never killed anybody. Well, it killed my old man and my mom. So I woke one morning and I looked around and I said, there's only one way to lick it. Gotta laugh at it. And I started laughing at this whole stinking society. It's the only way you're gonna make it, Joey. I don't know, maybe I am wallowing in self-pity. Maybe I'm a cynic, a wise guy, a punk. I don't want to go to prison, Mr. Benedict. Oh, God. Please help me. I don't want to go to prison.
Still here?
Mr. Benedict is very busy, Mr. Milvain. I'd be glad to make an appointment for you, but
You better tell him I'm here, sweetie. Tell him it's very important, and tell him that if he doesn't hear me out, there's liable to be trouble.
What kind of trouble, Mr. Milvain?
I'd like to talk to... Oh, you will be. This article has to do with a client of yours, Mr. Joey Kent.
Anything else before I leave, Mr. Benedict?
Stick around, Trudy. Trudy, type up that letter to Sainsbury and Kling in New York and then go home. All right, now what is this business about Joey Kent?
Oh, first things first, I still want you to defend me in this libel. Like I told you, this little girl will probably drop the whole thing when she finds out you're going to defend me.
I cannot and will not handle the case. Is that clear?
Okay. I have a counter proposal for you.
Joey Kent? Go ahead.
I've done a lot of interesting research on Kent. That is, under his real name. I suppose he's already told you about his miserable background, how he was a poor kid in the slums and the jungles of the Lower East Side in New York, how his mother and father died in poverty, and he bravely fought his way to what he is today.
Get to the point.
A brief but factual biography of your charming client. He was born on the North Shore of Long Island to one of the richest industrialists in New York. At 17, he'd been kicked out of nearly every snobby prep school in the East Coast. He was peddling pornographic literature at 18. His parents bought him out of nearly every scandal he was involved in until they finally disowned him. What a pretty biography to slap on the front page of our magazine. Particularly now. Especially now, Mr. Benedict, when there's motion for a new trial coming up. Now, I don't want to have to print this. I'm afraid that Joey Kent couldn't stand that kind of publicity.
Are you finished?
Here's my proposition. I trade you Joey Kent for Lacey Daisy. Oh, I'd like an immediate answer.
I'll give you an immediate answer. Trudy, did you get all that?
Yes, sir.
All right, type up 3 copies of it. One for this office, one for the district attorney's office, and you'd like a copy too, wouldn't you, Mr. Milbane? Come on, I'll give you 30 seconds to get out of here.
Now,
you heard me. Get out.
It's all right, Sam. Anything we can't settle here in the hallway? Oh, this is Rich Wallace. Wally's new here. He's working on the Pirelli case. No prosecutor's been assigned as yet.
Mr. Wallace, I'm here to ask you to drop all charges against the Pirelli girl and release her from custody.
Well, Sam, you know we bend over backwards when there's a juvenile involved.
What's your basis, Mr. Benedict?
There is no evidence of criminal negligence or criminal intent. I want you to withdraw the complaint.
Unless there is strong supporting evidence, we can hardly do that, Mr. Benedict. And I must warn you now that...
Don't warn me about anything, will you, Mr. Wallace? I've been practicing law a long time. I want to save this girl any long, drawn-out proceedings. This isn't a hit-and-run case, and you can't prove it in court. I want to get it over with, here and now.
Even though we are all concerned about this girl's relationship to one of our Superior Court judges, I still must warn you, Mr. Benedict.
You must have been in the Navy. You keep sending up these warning signals. This has nothing to do with her relationship with anybody. But it does have to do with the facts of the matter. Avery Johnson was not struck by Teresa Pirelli's car, nor did she knowingly flee the site of the accident. In truth and in fact, he walked into the side of her car. When you study the accident report, you'll be able to prove this to yourself. The point of contact was the right rear door of the car, well beyond the 85-degree maximum peripheral vision capability. Now, the coroner's report shows that death was caused by a compound fracture of the occipital. That's the rear of the skull. Avery Johnson walked into the side of the car and was flung back against the curbing. He was a very elderly man, and he was very nearsighted. I have also an affidavit from Dr. Owen W. Todd of 2345 Gough Street. Dr. Todd prescribed glasses for Mr. Johnson.
Well, I'll put these in the hands of the probation officer. You got this accident report in a hurry, Sam.
I had to, Jerry. Besides, I'm an early riser. Shall we, gentlemen? free, Teresa.
Am I?
Yes. Judge Pirelli will pick her up in a few minutes. I want to speak to her alone. The court found no negligence and granted you no special attention.
What was his name?
His name was Avery Johnson. He was 68 years old.
Did he have a wife?
Yes, he had a wife and 3 married children.
I wonder how she feels now.
Teresa, words are very difficult at a time like this, and they are nothing but words. You are inadvertently responsible for the death of another human being, and there is no erasure of that. Life is a very sacred thing to you, and well it should be, but you must judge yourself on the facts. The law of this state holds you not responsible, and you must not assume that responsibility yourself.
Mr. Benedict, at this point, I don't know what I feel. I don't even know if I feel sorry for the poor man or sorry for myself.
Everybody grows up very quickly these days, Teresa. Nobody can promise anyone an easy or a good life. Remember that, Teresa.
Excuse me, please. Excuse me. Well, today's the big day, huh, Joey, sweetie? How does it feel?
Get lost, will you, Scoop?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think a little thing like a jury trial would upset you.
Look, you bother me, man. I just don't want to talk to you, you hear? I got enough trouble keeping my breakfast down. I don't have a statement to make now or after, win or lose. Now, look, how do you feel? You're not nervous, are you?
I feel very good.
I do have a chance, don't I, Mr. Tabor?
I think so.
Now, look, you wouldn't snow me, would you? Look, I know I might have said a few things that might have offended you, but you know how I am. I like a little joke now and then.
The little ones need a lot of love, Joey.
Now, you're sure you can handle this? You're sure?
People of the state of California versus Joseph Michael Kent. Now, who is counsel of record?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Tabor, I have your motion for a new trial for Joseph Kent.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you prepared to argue this matter now?
I am.
Mr. Farron, you have read the motion and the attached affidavit?
I have, Your Honor, and I agree that in the interest of justice, a new trial should be granted. However, for the record, I feel that Mr. Tabor should state the nature and the details of the newly discovered evidence.
You may proceed, Mr. Tabor.
Your Honor, the defendant was charged and convicted of possession of narcotics. The case may well have ended there if it had not been for a thorough investigation of the facts. We have learned from the property clerk's office and the airline's office that the manifest of the flight which carried Mr. Kent's trunk from Los Angeles to San Francisco showed that the trunk weighed in at 85 pounds. Yet when it arrived in San Francisco, during which time it would have been physically impossible for the defendant to have access to the trunk, it lost 30 pounds. Quite obviously, Your Honor, Joseph Kent had not been the last person to open that wardrobe trunk or to lock it. Obviously, it had been tampered with either before leaving Los Angeles or upon arrival in San Francisco. And obviously, the real criminal, whoever he is long and far gone. I have here a photostat of Mr. Kent's overweight baggage claim check from that Los Angeles flight. I have a record of the police arrest report, which indicates the weight of baggage on arrival. And I have a report of my investigations.
Does the prosecution have any comment?
Yes, Your Honor. To commend Mr. Tabor on his diligence, and to call the attention of the court to the fact that apparently the real culprit in this matter isn't long and far gone at all.
What are you, taking bows already?
This moment by
Just
the
keep
Los
quiet,
Angeles
Joey.
police.
Your motion for a new trial is granted, Mr. Tabor. And may I add, the court welcomes and embraces this opportunity to consider the new evidence in this case. Mr. Kent?
Get up. A Superior Court judge is talking to you.
Mr. Kent, the court is painfully aware of the inconvenience and humiliation you have been caused during your ordeal. The court is also aware of the notoriety this matter has received, particularly in your statements to the press. Notwithstanding your comments or the provocations which caused you to make them, the court would like to take this opportunity to remind you that the same law only a few days ago that convicted you is the same law that now ensures you will have a new hearing, and all the facts of the matter will be presented. Law, Mr. Kent, in its final analysis, is a task for human beings. And as long as one human being deals with another human being, there will be mistakes. American jurisprudence recognizes and paradoxically ignores this fact at one and the same time. By the very existence of law, we admit the ability to mistake. And yet, there is no profession that strives any harder or more constantly for perfection than the law. If you leave this courtroom with one thought, Mr. Kent, I most wish that is the thought you carry with you. Mr. Tabor, we have all, at some time or another, in the performances of our duties, found ourselves inadequate. But to admit this inadequacy, to overcome it, and to work to prove the innocence of a man puts you in a category very few beings ever reach. I congratulate you, Mr. Tabor. Court is adjourned.
Boy.
Did you hear what he said?
I certainly did. Come on, back to work, Mr. Tabor.
Let's go.
Look, fill me in on this mumbo-jumbo. What's this about a new trial?
A formality, Joey. It shouldn't take more than 3/4 of an hour if you keep your mouth shut.
What do I do now?
You call your agent and tell him to try to get you a job. I want my fee.
What is it with you guys? All you're interested in is money. You keep screaming about American justice, and I buy it. I buy it. Then you louse up the whole thing by bringing up a rotten fee. What are you guys, a couple of ambulance chasers? Out for a fast buck? Look, the publicity you're going to get from this case alone is going to make the both of you famous. Hey, how'd you like an autographed picture of me to hang in your office? It'll class up the joint.
Please, Sam, just once. Can I hit him?
As your advisory counsel, I advise you to do it quickly.
Hey, that's a great right hand you got, but you still didn't answer my question.